Okay, today we are working on our wave using our cool and our warm colors from the color wheel. We're going to start off with our drawing, which I've already gone through. Is pencil drawing first, then we're going to trace with crayon, and then once we have our drawing done, that's when we're going to start our warm and our cool. So just to start off, I'm going to start with the cool colors. We're going to use our watercolors today, so we start with our blue, okay? If you want to test it, you can test it, but don't put it back in the water because there's no need. Just on the first color, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start tracing our colors. If you notice, anytime I go over crayon line, it's not going to color in because it's wax, okay? So we start, now I'm going to take a little bit more blue, put it on my paper, and I'm going to start adding a little bit of green at the same time. Okay, so when I mix, now my next color is going to be greenish. Take a little bit more green. There's no need, once again, to rinse. Okay, and now we have 3 different tones of cool. Okay, we can start back up with our regular blue. Okay, and a little bit more blue. Try not to mix your colors on top of your palette. Try and mix it on the paper palette so you don't mess with anybody else's colors. Okay, just keep coloring in. You can switch your values if you want, as long as it's cool and cool colors, you can keep mixing. If you want to lighten up, just less color. Okay, or if you want to get darker, a little bit more color, and you can even fade it just by using the tip. If you just use the tip and then you pull down the color a little bit. Okay, you can also add a little bit of green to that without messing up your palette and everybody else's colors. Okay, so we have our first set done. Now we're going to work on the bottom. Grab a little bit of water. We're not rinsing the brush. There's no need to rinse the brush yet. Okay, so our wave requires that we have some white parts where the wave crests. You can go all the way and then blend your colors lightly, so you can just color with almost water and a little bit of tint on your brush. Okay, and then come back in and add color later. So this is a different technique I'm showing you really quickly, okay? So now that we have a bunch of water, we can start adding our color. And then you'll see how it'll start to spread a little bit. You can add in a little bit more of your green. And if it's too light for you, just grab a little bit more color. It's really up to you how you decorate this. If you want to fade the green, you could also put it back in there. Okay. We have a little bit more color here on the edges. And if you get into the white, that's fine. If you want to fix it, what you can do is just take your napkin and press on the little area where you messed up. Okay, if not, you can always use water later and clean it out. Alright, for the next step, we're going to color in right under our mountain. So I'm going to get as close as I can to the top of the horizon line. And I'm going to start to blend down. Okay. At this point, we've colored in all our cool colors, and we're going to start with our warm. So on the other side of the paper, what you could do, since we're switching colors, you're going to wipe your brush on your paper. Okay, and we're going to start with our warm. You can start with an orange, a yellow, or a red. It's really up to you. I'm going to start with orange because it's nice in the middle. Okay, and I'm going to start blending my clouds in the back. Okay? You can use a little bit of water, you can use a lot of water, but just make sure it's under control. Remember not to touch your paper because you will mess it up, okay, if it's still wet. And if your colors tend to bleed over a little bit, that's fine, it's no big deal. Next I'm going to mix my red, a little bit of red in with the orange that I already have here on the palette, and start doing the clouds a little higher up. And I'm not totally red yet, still mixing with the orange. And we're leaving our white sections for the tops of our waves. If that's not dark enough for you, take a little bit more red and go on top. And it'll just start to blend slowly. Now you're ready for the top. You can either, if you started with yellow down here and you went orange, then you can go red. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to do a little bit of purple. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue and mix with a little bit of red. Okay? Actually a little bit more of red. So it's still warm, okay? So I'm going to color on the top all the way across. And you'll have paper on your desk so you won't make a mess, okay? Now, we're going to start to blend. I'm going to take a little bit more red. If you want to dab your color out a little bit more so it's not too wet, you can do that. Start adding a little bit more red until you get to the bottom cloud. If you want to, for fun, mix in a little bit more orange, you could do that. Just make sure it's mixed in really well. Alright, and make sure everything is nice and blended in. Okay, and then one thing we have left to do is the mountain, which you still have some. You have some brown, you can just use the brown if you'd like. If you wanted to switch the color, that's fine too. It's really up to you.